Hi guys, Melinda Parker's here. Happy May. What did you do on May Day? I can remember as a kid dropping off flowers at a front door and knocking on the door and running away for May Day. Um, what we did was celebrate my mom, Linda Calhoun. She has been um, in ministry for a very long time, for more than 50 years, but more than 43 years at Baptist Temple. And so we celebrated her yesterday, and it was a great day. Lots of friends came, and past church members came back to sing in the choir with us. It was really cool. Um, Great big thanks to Brenda and Art Galbraith and Kim Engel. Um, special thanks for you guys. And then last night we had sheltered quartet play and a figure foods after church, so it was fun. So uh, this week it is travel and tourism week, so expect for some extra Facebook lives to pop up this week, because if something super fantastic comes up, I'm just going to jump on and tell you. Right now, with this coming up this week, Sandals already has a tremendous discount program out for travelers. Spring into romance and lots of bonuses. So if Sandals or Beaches has been on your radar, now's the time to check it out. And I am a certified sandal specialist for many years. Um, um, right up there is the certification. You'll have to excuse my appearance. I was going to tell you that at first. I was at Elements Country Club all day at a golf tournament. If you have, if you're looking for sponsors for a golf tournament, I want to do it for a good cause. But if you're in charge of that, reach out to me, because we did a couple cool baskets, and then I went and set on the hole, and a hole in one gets a cruise for two. So it's a good idea. It's fun, and it gets our name up there. And I got to see lots and lots of people that I haven't seen in a good long time. Okay, so up next, um, flyersrights.org. You ought to write this down. Flyersrights.org is really pushing. Um, it's really pushing for seats to be larger. The FAA 2018, let's see, what was it called? It was called, it was called the Reauthorization Act of 2018. And the average pitch is 26 inches. So more than 60% of the participants in the group said that if there were an emergency, they would be challenged to get out of a seat that is 26 inches wide. And in 2018, FAA was working on this. And then the pandemic came, and it's kind of just been pushed to the side with a lot of other things that have taken its place. But this group is really pushing for it again, and they're looking for people who might have interest in sharing their information. It's flyersrights.org, and they have frequently asked questions there. Which airlines have got the most flexibility for your travel? It's been a long time said, Southwest is one of the easiest carriers to work with, because if you can't go, they will allow us to change that. And now they are in our Apollo system, our global distribution system, which is a live airline system. And we are one of the last ones in Alamance County to still have one. It's one of the best reasons to call me versus booking it online, because if you need to make a change, you call me instead of calling Expedia or whomever, however you booked it. Okay, story number 3. Global entry. So now that the world's opening up, I'm getting a lot of questions about global entry and a few others. There's global entry. My next favorite would be Nexus. My next favorite um, would be Century, and then my last choice would be Clear. Now, all of these are groups. Um, I would go with the most secure, which is the U.S. Customs and Border Control, run by the Homeland Security, would be the Global Pass. That Global Pass is $100 for 5 years, and you submit information. They do a full background check, and then they set you up to come to them in Charlotte. At least the last two people that I helped with it, they went to Charlotte and for a personal interview and to get fingerprinted. And then when you go internationally and you come back into the country, it is super simple. It's a fingerprint and swiping your passport, and you're in. And TSA domestically, if you have the Global Pass, you automatically get the TSA for 5 years as well. An alternative to that is Nexus. It's another program, and if you're going in and out of Canada a lot, that may be an option for you, because it allows you to drive in and out as well as walk in and out as well as fly in and out, with the most speed. The Century is another one, and I would say it's best if you are going to Canada or Mexico and you're going to do this, say, more than once a year. Um, I would love to go to Mexico more than once a year. That would probably be that's probably the first international visit that I'll do post pandemic, because there's just such good deals. I put in here, good gracious, $2,300 for a week for two, all inclusive, oceanfront, in Playa del Carmen. Man, that's hard to beat. Okay, I've squirreled this way. Let's go back. I just wanted to tell you. So the last one is called Clear. So we have the global entry that's offered by um, Homeland Security. We have Nexus, which is a private company. And it's not like there's not good success with it. There has been great success with it. Um, a lot of background checks, maybe slower than what global entry is. And then Century, I just don't know that much about them, but the fact that they include Canada and Mexico as their easy vehicle, pedestrian, or air transfers, it seemed like that's a number three. But Clear, I have only read things that seem like it was confusing and that people had some challenges using it. So going internationally, I see Ernie and Kay here tonight. Thank you for being here, and Amy. Um, I would really consider that global entry before you go internationally again. Um, don't do like one of the travel bloggers that I follow. His name's JJ, and he used to be on cruises working in entertainment in the art department. He did several things for a few years, and then he started um, a YouTube show about cruising, and he does daily things. It's it's the ship life. That's what it's called, the ship life. Anyway, he sent his passport in for renewal and got down to board the Margaritaville ship and had a birth certificate and thought that that would be sufficient, but the birth certificate did not have a raised seal on it. And it was the one that he had used his whole life, but it just wasn't sufficient. So a good travel agent is going to look at your documents for you and let you know while you're submitting um, passport for renewal or applying for a passport. That time period, you can cruise with a certified birth certificate with a raised seal and a government issued ID. So it doesn't have to be a passport. The reason that we suggest a passport is, let's say that you are in Aruba on your cruise and there's a medical emergency and you want to get on that next flight home. Well, if you don't have a passport, you cannot fly back into the US. So that's the biggest difference, is if you are if you are away from the US and there is an emergency on your cruise, there are many times that you cannot fly back without that passport. Okay, speaking of cruising, let me tell you what's going on in the cruise world. Uh, right now, stocks are down. So I know several people were looking at stocks with me a long time ago. Oh, hi, Mark Jones and Linda Aiken. Hey, um, but we watched when stocks were in their 17 to 21 range, and wow, they're way higher than that, but they have continuously gone down. Not really sure the cause, but if that's your thing, now's the time to look. Um, Royal Caribbean's Radiance of the Seas, the one that our group will do September 13th, hit the water in Alaska on Friday. So it's doing its first sailing of the season, and that's exciting news. One of the guys on board said that while they were leaving the port, they saw a whale breach just right from the Vancouver port. So that's a neat way to start your Alaska cruise. Celebrities Beyond, which is their new ship, is sailing out of Southampton this week, and she promises to come to the US after her sea trials. She'll do Mediterranean sailings, and then she'll be in Fort Lauderdale for the winter season. So if you're looking for a new ship, because I have a lot of customers who really like the new ship, this is going to be the new ship for the Caribbean this fall. A new cruise line is coming out. So a new cruise line has purchased what was the Regal Princess from Princess Cruise Line, and they are called Ambassador Cruise Line. And the new ship has been, or the ship that has been renovated, is called the Ambiance. It's going to do sailings out of London around the Mediterranean, and who knows where it will go in the future. It's up in the air. Uh, Breaking news on Royal Caribbean this week: Arnold Donald, who was the CEO for 9 years, after making Carnival the #1 cruise line, according to many publications, he is leaving. He is following like what Richard Fain did. He was the CFO of Royal Caribbean, and he stepped down as well. I think that these leaders got them through the pandemic and got the cruise lines back on track where they're supposed to be. And now it's time for them to do something else. So best of luck to both of them. When you are managing more than 100,000 people, um, I imagine 9 years of that is enough. So, okay, on to other news. Uh, Carnival started sailing out of a new port. They never sailed out of San Francisco before, but they are now, and they are going to do West Coast sailings. So if you're on the West Coast, if you have friends that are on the West Coast, when I send families out to the West Coast, sometimes by the time we do air and hotel and a couple tours, we've got a good chunk of money there for a family. Let's say grandparents with their kids and their kids. And I have to tell you, a cruise is one of the most affordable ways to go. Um, you can put two in a room, and it would be very hard to meet that price point on land these days. Okay, these world cruises that have been announced, do you know that more than 80% are completely full for next year? This year and next year. But MSC Cruise Line, which is not my favorite cruise line because they are a bit, they're not quite westernized enough for me. But for $15,000 to be able to see 52 destinations, and 41 countries. The starting price is $15,000. That's a pretty good, well, no, that's a really good price. Um, wow. I thought that was super. So if that interests you, please let me know. They opened up 2 days ago. And honestly, like when Princess opened theirs, within 4 days, every sailing, world cruise sailing was full. I have a lady who we have moved it to January of next year for 71 days. So um, love those kind of customers. So if you're a world cruise traveler like Mr. Mark, uh, just let me know. I would be honored to serve you. Okay, let me tell you something new I didn't realize was already in place, but they're getting ready to run a rail system into Orlando Airport. Well, I'm sure my friends in Florida know all about this, but I wasn't aware that Miami to West Palm is already a functional rail system. And this is the first privately owned rail company in more than 100 years. So I think this is pretty dynamic. Um, it will have service. So right now it's got service Miami to West Palm. They're already running trials West Palm to Cocoa Beach because we're going out of Port Canaveral. That would be an easy transfer. And they have laid track and completed 4 tunnels to get to the Orlando International Airport. Um, a stop would naturally be at Disney. So it's in the future. It doesn't look like it's going to be available for passengers until the beginning of 23. But with gas doing what it is, that would be a pretty cool way to go on a train. And to look at these trains, it is not like Amtrak. It's a very modern, sleek bucket style seats, all gray, muted gray interior, look great. So be watching for that. It is called the Bright Star Rail, and it's 70% complete to get to the Orlando Airport. So I think that would be a super way to go. A lot of times we can get really good fares, say into, oh, I didn't know this was in my way, sorry. We can get super fares into West Palm that are nonstop out of Raleigh on Delta, 178 round trip. And if you had a rail that would take you from West Palm directly into Port Canaveral, I would say that would be a very viable option in place of going to Orlando Airport, the size of Orlando Airport, and then doing shuttles from there. Just a thought. Okay, tell me what you think about that. And let me know. Oh, I forgot to tell you about Scotland and Ireland. Okay, we're gonna go. We're gonna go April 31st. It's a 10, no, it's a 12-day trip. We're gonna start in Ireland and end in Scotland. Guys, it has everything. I was you know how I like to put my own stuff together. Well, as I'm pricing this out, it's just not possible for me to get to that price point with food included, entertainment included. We're going to use CIE Tours. So look up CIE Tours, A Taste of Scotland and Ireland. And I would love to have you join us. If you have questions, please reach out to me. I'll share with you that next Tuesday night, we're going to have an Alaska night here inside of Action Travel. So tell your friends if Alaska's been on your bucket list, whether you get to go with us in September or you just want to hear about Alaska, please join us. I am an Alaska expert, and if I get to go in September, it will be my 9th group trip, but I've been about 15 times. So it's a blessing sometimes to be in the travel business. And especially now that we can see the light at the end of the tunnel and my phones are ringing off the hook. So I really appreciate your time. Thanks for joining us. And I will see you next week. Talk to you soon. Bye. Oh, my phone number 336-222-TRIP. Talk to you soon. Have a great week. Make it a great week. Ciao.